Well, you want to switch?
Okay, we're live. Yay!
Yay!
Hi guys, welcome to Life Matters the annual day. Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, just let me know. Let me know. Today I'm super pumped. I was telling my husband that I am super pumped to have this conversation just because we're not having Joseph the second time, but we are having Joseph the second time double banger. You get it. So this is your first time joining the show. Welcome. This is Life Matters and Dedere. It's an inspiring radio show and it's also a podcast. So if you miss anything, don't be afraid. You can always go to every podcast platform to go listen again. And people, last week we started this conversation, and what we're doing this month is just celebrating amazing Christian couples living life to the max, to be very sincere. And the reason why I wanted to have this conversation with Christian couples especially is because every time the news we always hear is, oh, this divorce, oh, that divorce, oh, Christian homes aren't lasting again, oh, this, and I'm like, you know what, I think it's high time we start having these conversations, and let's start celebrating and talking about the homes that have actually been doing well. So last week our guest was Ayanna and Jonathan Kilgore, all the way from the US. They've been married for 24 years. They have a book called I Quit. If you look at Ayanna's Instagram page, the link is in the bio. But if you check my personal Facebook page at Anwadejire, you would see the link to just go get this book. You can either get the e-version on Kindle or you can get the hard copy, which is on every platform of any Amazon, and they ship all around the world. So today I have the Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Damola Max, but their full names are Joseph and Damola Makanjuola. Please give us the round of applause. Yes, I have my famous bell is back. Yay! Yes, it's been a minute to use the bell. Hi guys, how are we doing today? How's your weekend been? Just give us a lowdown of, if you were not doing this afternoon, what would you be doing typically on a Saturday?
On a Saturday, we like to go hiking now. But today has been more like errands, running around, cleaning up. We'd be filming. So this is something that we'd be doing on a Saturday. Otherwise, yeah, just chilling.
Yeah. Usually on Saturdays is the day Damola and I get to like go out for a bit. Friday or Saturdays, and then Sundays when we're like chill.
Relax.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I know a lot of people always have this. How was COVID like for both of you? Because I remember, so I'm not putting that Joseph under the bus, but I remember that when we're having a conversation on purpose, and Joseph did a fantastic job talking to men about purpose. And I know a lot of women could connect to a lot of things he said. He said, oh, he's the kind of person that he just wants to have that his me time, but Damola is me and Joseph time. So kind of give us a little bit into what's time like for both of you. How was the COVID lockdown? So now both of you have to be at home, right? So how has that been like for both of you?
So, I mean, I guess we kind of have to like talk about like our entire relationship when it comes to it. So we've been together, 4 years now? I've been married 2 years. And we didn't start living together until a year ago. So when the lockdown happened is when we started living together, and it was during the lockdown. So it was very interesting, just learning how to live together, how to live with another man, how to live with another guy, because I'd never lived with, a guy before. Yeah. I said interesting because even when I'm not around Joseph and he's like, this girl's quiet, he thinks there's something wrong. Automatically, he thinks there's something wrong.
I mean,
Joseph, so I would take that word back. I would take that. You say if you like it.
You have to hear both sides first, but no problem. I think we've gone to the point where we do things together, but we still recognize that we need our me times too. Yeah, so there are times where she's like quiet, and I'm like, okay, are you okay, or what did I do wrong, right? But she just needs a me time, and I think it's just something that we learn to recognize and understand going forward.
Yeah, but honestly, it's been good. We have a lot of fun together. We are still exploring the city that we live in now, but otherwise, it's been good. No like crazy relationship things where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to divorce him or whatever like that. Like, no, it's been fun.
Nice. For those that are joining us for the first time, we're streaming live on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on YouTube Live. So just go at Anodedere, or go to my Instagram bio. Just click the link, and you watch us live and direct, full screen like this. And also you can subscribe to Live to the Max. Please make sure you subscribe. If you look at the description in the YouTube channel, I think my YouTube channel, the link to their channel is there. So just click on it, click subscribe. So I know you've done how we met. I know you have a video on that. I don't want you to repeat everything, but in a nutshell, Joseph, what made you, of all the wonderful creations of the Most High God, what made you think, this girl is not bad though? Like, this is spec for me, not anybody else. What made you jump like that? And how has 2 years, 4 years, how has it been so far with Damola?
I think for me, so we started off, she slid into my DMs, on Facebook, and she was like, hey, do I know you from somewhere? I'm like, oh, you are bold. Okay, let's do this. So we started there, conversation, became friends for some time. And during that time of friendship, that was when I began to know who Damola is, get to know, the things that make her tick, the things that, make her, like, make her who she is, the fun parts about her, the things that were attractive to me. I think it was in that friendship that I began to see all of that. The first day we actually met in person, something had happened that I was like, wow, so that's you. Is that really you? Because she got mad at me for something that you wouldn't be able to see at long distance, right? But when we got to meet in person, there was something that happened. I was like, oh, okay. I know things like that happen often, or like, now and then, that you're like, okay, I see this, do I still want to continue with it, right? So it's like, I see these things that, could get better, but do I want to go on with it? And I think just making that choice that, okay, there's more to Damola than those little things, right? She's attractive in person, attractive in character. She's confident. I find that super sexy. So that was it for me.
She was like, this bros. Don't spill all the tea. Oh my. So how has it been like? Because, like you said, you just moved in together a year ago, and you will tell us a little bit about that. So from the me space, my table, my kitchen, my room, to now someone is in my space, and someone I care about. So someone is not like a bad stuff. Marriage is sweet. Let's first declare it. Marriage is sweet. And not doing something alone. To be very sincere, I salute people that do long distance marriage. The Lord knows I cannot. No. But yeah, how was it like coming together and living the same space? And what made you guys not be together the first year and now the second year you're together, like living the same house?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Oh, so this for Joseph. I'm asking. Oh. So this is 2-4, right?
Okay.
You've been married for 2 years, but you just moved in together a year ago. Right. How was that phase like? What made you guys be in different spaces before you came together? And what's been that one thing that, if you will tell anybody out there, like that's the relationship now, even things that is where you had doubts, or were the things that kind of stood out that said this is still the person?
Right. I think for me, I've always lived with family, right? And so I've always had to share with people around me, and so I didn't really have an issue with sharing space. But yeah, the reason why we had to live in different places was Damola lived in the US. I was in Toronto at the time, Toronto, Canada at the time, and so we met online. We didn't get to meet in person until 7 months later, and then started visiting each other, dating and courting from there. I mean, just getting to be in the same space for me wasn't too difficult. I think it was more understanding that, okay, this person is is going to be the mirror that God has placed in your life, and you're going to see it's God reintroducing you to yourself pretty much through someone, right? So they're seeing all the bad parts that you probably didn't ever get to see for yourself, or nobody like cared to like look at it. But there's someone constantly in your space looking at you, like you're looking at you and saying, okay, this is trash. Like this auntie right there is trash. So you better fix it. And you're like, okay, you can't go anywhere now. You're in the same, like, you're not going anywhere. So I think that for me was the big change, is that someone being there, just seeing who you are for who you are, and you can't really like, you're committed to it, right? I think that was it for me.
So let me go to Damola now. What made you just say, God, I've prayed, I've thought about this, I've seen all the brothers, some might even have had vision about you, and now you're saying, God, I'm going to go with this, your son, just because. What were the things that stood out for you? How has been in that? So same questions like Joseph. And what's that one thing that even during your dating phase into your first year of marriage, you saw and you're still like, God, like I still know that this is your word, is the person you said I'm gonna get married to, and we're gonna walk through this phase.
So for me, the one thing is that like Joseph is God-fearing in like the fullest extent of like what God-fearing is. And when I was praying for like, okay, God, I'm ready to settle down. You know, these are the things that I want. Like, what do you want from me? I want what you want from me. And seeing that like amongst everyone else, right? Joseph was just like, hey, I will pray for you as a friend. You know, I'll be there for you. I will be like a listening ear. You know, he'll send me scriptures and send me this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, man, this guy really cares. Like, no one else
Joseph.
Like, you know, through friendship, he was doing all of this stuff already. So it's just like, okay, can you imagine like having someone to walk, you know, through the journey of life with, who is like that already? And if he's in my face, you know, I can't be like, God, where's my guy? Like, God is telling me he's right here. So at that, it was just like, I knew I wanted someone that loved God, you know, fully, with his actions, with his words, just everything. And Joseph, he displayed that in the beginning as we were friends, throughout our relationship. And I think like all the time now, I'm just like, man, like, God, this is like the best gift you have ever like given me my whole entire life. And I get to do life with him, you know? So that would be it for me. Like, he loves God, he cherishes God with like everything, and keeps that, you know, God at the center of our relationship. So yeah, that was it. That was it for me. That's all I wanted. And everything else that came with it is, you know.
So I intentionally, and if you notice, the title of the conversation rhymes with your YouTube channel, and I intentionally chose that topic because I noticed that a lot of people, once they get married, they kind of feel like they're curbed. Right, like, oh, we can't do certain things, we can't do certain this, we can't. Oh, don't talk this certain way. You're not a married person. Don't hang out. Don't have single friends. That's the catastrophic one I've heard lately. Like, if you're married, don't have single friends. I'm like, who is the demon concocting this? Who is the demon? Because it makes no sense to me. I get where you should be careful in your friendships, but because there's a label of someone not being married doesn't tag them to be evil, right? So my next question for both of you, whoever wants to take it, will be, how did you tell each other that, you know what, we're going to enjoy life to the max? Like, if you're going to serve God, we're going to serve God to the max. If you're going to have fun, if you're going to go into our finances, I'm going to talk about finances later, because I know you just got your home and it took a process. I know you've done a video on it, so I don't want you to, like I told you, you'll go to their YouTube channel and go and watch. So give us just a little bit about it. Like, what's that thing that you guys have told yourselves that everything we're going to do to the maximum, we're not going to hold ourselves or hide ourselves? How are you able to get to that place, and how are you enjoying that space? And what will you tell a young couple or someone that's cutting at the moment, they're about to get married and they're still trying to figure out how to make that kind of decision?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with understanding what living life to the max like means to us, and that comes with having a relationship with God. And Jesus came, you know, he died for our sins, carried all the burdens for our lives, and to have eternal life through his blood and have a relationship with God. So I think it comes from that, and having that understanding, like in our marriage, in our finances, just all together, like God-centered life. And we're called to live life abundantly, like in everything that we do. We're not called to come and struggle in our marriage, struggle in our finances. You know how people paint life to be like such a struggle? For me personally, I'm very optimistic about like everything, like whatever the situation, whatever's going on, let's keep a positive mindset and see how we can get through it. And I think, Joseph has seen that like throughout. So I think it comes naturally to us as well. Like, let's live abundantly. Let's live according to the word. Let's live according to what do you have in store for us today? What are we going to do today to live according to what you have in store for us? So it comes to us naturally, and we want other people to also like experience that and see that it's possible. Like, you don't have to struggle to get to where God wants you to be. You don't have to go through the bad parts to see, oh my goodness, I don't know how to explain it, but
I think maybe what you're trying to say is this: you don't have to experience every single thing to be able to experience the best thing. To know that, okay, you don't have to like sleep with every man to know that, okay, you can have the best man.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to get like taste everything, because that's the thing about it. Once you've tasted everything, you don't have space for the best thing. When the best thing comes, right? And so for us, it's yes, we want to have great experience. One of my favorite gospel artists says this thing. He says, the world is big, God is bigger, explore both. And so for us, we want to do that, like with our travels, with our relationship with God, like Damola said. And just to add to that, relationship with God for us is where it starts, right? When I think of living life to the maximum, I'm thinking we are only as full as the capacity of our source. If God is our source, God is unlimited. It means we can live an unlimited life. We can live life to the maximum. If our source is just something small, then we're looking at a small life, right? Another thing for us when it comes to living life to the max is that we are only as full as our connection to the source as well. If our connection is not strong, then that's on us. We are missing out on something, right? And so for us, that's the core. Our connection to God and who God is. Like He has this capacity, like that's unlimited. Paul was talking to a group of people in the Bible and was telling them that out of God's unlimited glorious riches, He can provide this. So there's limitless resources in God. And so once we know that, once we understand that, once we come to accept that, it changes the way we think, right? And everything that we need for life and godliness, God has provided it. Through the knowledge of Christ Jesus. Through the knowledge of Christ Jesus. So that part is very important to us. Knowing who God is, knowing who Jesus is, knowing what He's capable of doing through us, and then allowing that to affect every area of our lives, our marriage, our finances, our career, our community, our families. We talk about like John 10:10 as being our anchor scripture, right? And it says, Christ has come to give us life and give us more abundantly. That word abundantly means all bases covered, all around. It's not just one part of your life that's living to the fullest. It's every part. And I think that's what our goal is.
Yeah. So we tell other couples, keep God at the center of your relationship. Ask God every single day, like, even if you're courting right now, is this who God wants me to walk, through life with? Right. Is this where we're supposed to be? What should we be focusing our vision on? Like, what should our vision be? Yeah. So yeah, keep, Christ-centered life,
When I think of the best life I could ever live, does this person, fit that picture, right? Especially as long as your best life, your vision, like you said, is in line with the scriptures, in line with what God is saying to you.
Yeah, that was a long-winded answer.
Guys, let's just close the service. Please send in your offering. Like, I don't think you would have said it a different way. And one thing that I was in the clubhouse group, and we were talking, and this guy kept asking different questions, it was very, very insightful questions. But for me, it was more or less just what Joseph said. When the other party, or if one party isn't in sync with what God has as a vision for their life, it just crumbles everything. So this person doesn't align with your value system. See, I don't, to be very sincere, except it is like an Ozia situation, which is always like a 1 in 1,000. if the person is not in sync with your value system, there's no even need to ask Holy Spirit. You just look at it, thank you very much for coming, God bless you, and you move on. I think that there are some things that we know, just like that lady on Instagram that does the whole there's this, I don't know if you've seen her, there's this lady that does the whole God thinking about so she asks God, she asks the angels, and she asks herself, and she was like, God should tell her who a man is, and blah 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 blah. And the same lady, God told her, don't rush, don't do anything, just settle down, I'll send my will to you. The guy just says hi. She's already like, are you this? Are you that? Are you that? Give me your number. And in my head, I'm like, if this person doesn't align with your value system, if the person doesn't love God, like you said, Damola can say, Joseph, God told me that we should go to Africa, probably in Kenya, to go for a mission trip. Just because your values align with mission, Joseph doesn't have to think twice and say, let me go back and risk. Joseph just says, what are the instructions God gave you?
Yeah.
Because your values align. And I think that it's high time, young adult, we need to come out from that bubble of he has to be cute, he has to be fine, he has to be rich. Yes, all those things will be added, but that scripture, seek ye first the kingdom of God. Once you're seeking the kingdom first, every other thing, is it fine, man? It will give you a hot, tall glass of chocolate and you'll be praising the Lord.
Yeah.
But if you don't make God the center of everything, you'll be struggling in other areas of life. And I think it's just important, like you said, enjoy it to the max. If you are serving God right now as a young adult, serve God to the max.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be financially free, make sure that you are learning as much as you can. Like it's very, very important. Which we are going to run into that finance stuff. Because they tell us that, money is the number one catalyst for divorce. Money is everybody paints money as the evil person. So guys, that money talk during courtship, how was it like? That money talk now in marriage, how is it like? Then we'll not come to talk about you getting your first home and stuff like that.
You start? It's a good question.
Yeah, that's a great question. In courtship, I think finance has always been something where when we talk about it, we say we don't ever want to fight about money, right? And to be practical, we were working at the same time, before getting together. So Damola knew I was already working, she was already working, and so we had this sense of like, okay, we are both bringing something to the table, right? And when it comes to finances, like as long as we're planning, as long as we're on the same page, that's important. But I would say that can two work together unless they agree? So agreement in our finances is important. We had this talk of like, your money is my money, and my money is your money. It's our money, right? And we had to agree on that. It's our money, right? I think that was the first step for us. One thing also I noticed in our courtship was that Damola would always budget every single thing. I still have the picture of the first budget she made for our travel. I have it. It's on my phone. Like I had to save it because I was like, this is detailed. So that for me was like a key indication that, okay, this person cares about their finances, cares about where it goes, and they care about what they do with their money. So that was like, important for me to understand that, okay, I can't just mess around when it comes to finances. I can't just do whatever I want when it comes to finances. That there's someone there that already knows what's up. So you better get yourself together.
But I mean, honestly, like while we're recording too, like Joseph was very like responsible with everything he was doing. Like, yeah, I know this guy's working. I know he's making money. He was living like responsibly, I would say. And we're called to be stewards of everything that we have. So like finances is one of them. Like you said, planning has been really important for us, like coming together, like marriage wise. We both had like our individual lives when it comes to finances. So like when we were recording, I think it was still very like independent. We made our own decisions when it came to like money. But once we came together, it was just like, okay, joint accounts. Damola was like, what is that? What is joining? Why does it need to join? But it came down to like, it's our money. Here's what we see for our future. Here's where we want to be, 5 years down the line. Yeah, here's where we want to be like a year down the line. How can we do this together? Like, everything needs to be a joint decision when it comes to money. When it starts becoming, hey, the one spouse who is handling like all the finances is hiding something, or not being fair when it comes to how the money is being spent, or just not being transparent. I think that's where the conflict starts, and that's what we avoid. Like there's 100% transparency when we do our budgets. On a weekly, almost bi-weekly basis, we talk about like where we're at. Like
always talking about
if we're going out to eat too much, okay, Joseph, maybe let's not do that again. For the rest of the
Let's
time,
boil that rice and make that stew at home with love.
Balance.
That's rice at home.
Yes. Balance. But honestly, just making sure like we're on the same page when it comes to how we're spending our money, where the money is going, and what we want to do, planning wise.
Right. So it all comes down to planning. Like what do we want to do with that money? Like we're stewards of this thing. It doesn't belong to us, right? We're managing it, right? So how are we managing it? What are plans for giving? What are plans for for savings? Whatever it is that we have plans for, I think it's important that we are both on the same page. And so that has made things work for us.
Yeah.
So let's talk about money and the house. So you just purchased your first home, and I know that that's a huge investment for you. Now, what were the steps you had to make? What was that thing that you had to come to the table and say, okay, this is what we're doing? Was there conflict on, let's say, where the house will be, or what the house will look like, or what will be in it, or whatever it was then? And how were you able to come on the same page? Like you said, money was not an issue because everybody knew that, okay, Damola is a budget. Once we're going over, she's already giving you like the yellow flag. And by the time you go over, you just see the stop hexagon sign in your dream, right? So how are you able to come together and say, okay, you know what, this way we are going to stay? That's agreement. Let's talk about agreement and money when you were purchasing your home. How was it like?
Oh my goodness, that's such a great question.
Before you go ahead, babe, I just want to put it out there. When we got to Atlanta, I think the first few days, the first thing we did was drive around the city.
The first day, actually.
The first day. Drive around the city to see what neighborhoods we like. See like the nice neighborhoods, see the houses there, just like to see, expose ourselves to that. That was the first thing we did. Then you can go ahead.
Yeah, I guess we'll come back to that because you have something to say. But I wanted to mention that that's a great question because we did talk about it in one of the videos on our channel. If you haven't checked it out already, we talked about some of the sacrifices that we did have to make when it came to saving up for our house, like saving up in general, and what helped us along the way. Like, here's what we want, here's what we need, let's focus on our needs for now, and just what sacrifices that we have to make, as well as budgeting and everything like that to help us get the house. But along that journey, what helped the most was that being on the same page thing. Yeah, I think honestly, that's all I can say.
Like when it comes to saving, one person can't just be.
It can't be.
It can't be one-sided.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't have enough. You want to do this, you want this other thing, but as long as both of us have agreed that okay, this is where we're trying to get to, then both people have to walk towards it. Both people have to agree to sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed. Agree to give up what needs to be given up. I think being on the same page is just so crucial that you can't overemphasize it.
Yeah, but if you are trying to purchase a house now, obviously make sure that you have the right amount. Just do your research. Know the type of house that you do want to buy. Know how much you need to save for your down payment, for every single thing involved, whether it's realtor, the inspection, everything. Know what amounts you need to save up for everything. Have that ready within your time frame. So I want to get a house a year from now. Make sure that the money is ready 9 months to the time, right? Because there could be emergency, whatever that comes up. So plan for it, do your research, know what you want to get, in what area, what market you're looking at that's convenient for you, work-wise, save up for it. And then honestly, just do your research.
And importantly, understand that you're going to be paying mortgages after. So plan for that part too. So not just buying the house, but sustaining the payments too. That part is important. Not that you buy the house and then you can't afford it. Right? So look at what you have and look at where you're trying to get to. Plan for that, then go with it. And of course, prayer was a huge factor in it as well. I think we didn't really we had a plan for when we wanted to get the house, but it
just happened.
Much sooner.
And that was God. That was the grace of God. Because from the moment that we realized, oh yeah, we can actually get a house now, to closing on the house, it was like a month and a half. And it was just like, this is God. Like, this is where God is leading us.
Even our realtors were like, this is too fast. Like, they haven't seen anything close this quick. And we just give all glory to God for that.
That's key. And I like how you said that at the end of the day, it still boils down to God's plan. A lot of, and it's good to plan, it's good to budget, it's good to, all these things are really good. But I think one thing sometimes people take out of the equation is that God factor, where they feel like, oh, I have everything sorted. I've done all my research. I've done this. I've done that. God will be all right, right? And it's just high time for us to come back to that place where we're thinking of what does God want first, rather than what we want, and all those things are like a rigmarolling. Now, let's talk about something that a lot of people. You want to say something, Joseph?
I was just going to add to that. There's an analogy I like to give for that whole plan thing, as the fact that you can plan how to get from A to B, but you don't know the detours that will happen along the road, right? So, and that's where God's direction comes in. Allowing God to direct those times where there might be detours that might be necessary, right? And so, yes, it's good to plan your A to B, but let God be able to direct your path to those plans.
Yes, that's key. So there's something that a lot of people don't always talk about, and that's conflict resolution. Hallelujah.
Amen.
They don't, because they feel like, oh, we'll sort it, don't worry, we'll sort it. And I'm sorry. So that I'm sorry, they feel like, as when you put plaster on a very, very deep wound, and that I'm sorry until, so an analogy my pastor used today, he said, so this couple, the man sent you are negative with like an exclamation, like 3 exclamation marks. So the lady didn't understand the context, didn't understand. She just slammed him back with, you are this, you are that, you are this, you are that. And it was as if like a can of worms. She just kept blah, 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 blah. So the husband saw it and responded, oh, your COVID-19 results was negative. And in my head, I was just thinking, babe, how? Like, how did you guys talk? So let's talk about conflict resolution. How did you guys resolve conflict before you got married? And now you're living in the same house, in the same place. There'll be so many things. Everything's not always very, this makeup took time, you understand? Everything takes a bit of time. So how were you able to like, how do you get a hang of it? So let's talk about before marriage and now that you're married.
Can I remember before marriage?
I think before marriage it was a bit harder, because we had mostly it was things over text. We were texting, over a phone call. They're not in your face, and so it's easy, like you said, to misinterpret what the person is trying to say. I think things that could have led in the past, things that led to conflicts were, for example, Damola was probably pissed about something that happened to her, right? And then she texted me, about it. And I responded with something logical rather than, oh, I understand you. I understand how you feel. This is how you feel. I understand. I just said, do this. Just do this. Bruh. I heard it.
Don't do it.
Bye. You don't understand right now. Bye.
So, yeah, that was one of the things that I personally noticed, that, when not in contact with the person, like, it's easy to misunderstand. And so communication is so important. Communicating feelings, communicating in words, communicating in actions, like verbal, non-verbal, all of that is really important. I think pre being in the same space, that was something we had to work through.
And then I guess post being in the same place, like now living together and everything like that, it's still a work in progress, I would say. And the reality of it is just like there's no perfect rainbows and sunshine every single day marriage.
No.
That's not realistic.
It's not.
Hollywood has come all of you. They think that they don't just come out from work. The wife will be there like, oh my God, it's calm, my sister. Please wake up.
Get married, they said. To get married.
Oh, have a cute baby, they say. If you see how many times I apply concealer under this thing.
Oh my goodness. You know, like, okay, earlier on when we first started living together, it was just like, oh my goodness, this is so nice. You know, we'd be up late cooking and watching this, watching that. And then, like, I guess, like, you know, when conflict will come up and, like, things that we don't necessarily agree on, it's just like, what's going on here?
Is this the person
Is this the person I'm married? Like, is this the person that I knew before we started living together? Like, you know, what's going on?
Did something changed?
Yeah. And honestly, like, I would say Joseph still, like, for the most part, 99.9% of the time, he apologizes first. I'm still working on it. So I'm working the progress.
The Holy Spirit is helping us. It's helping us.
It's still a work in progress for me, but like, honestly, I think now I'm learning more and more. Like, you just have to show the other person grace. Like, I'm imperfect as is, so why do I expect Joseph to, you know, just be perfect all the time, have the right words to say, have the right reaction to everything? Like, I'm not perfect, and I have to treat Joseph like, you know, he's not perfect as well. He makes mistakes at the end of the day. Yeah. Like, I think even now, like, sometimes I'm like, I think that he is perfect, and sometimes when things do happen, I'm like, dang, Joseph, I didn't think you could do that. Oh my God.
I think that's a very important thing. Like, it's important to not just see the person in the light that they can't make mistakes.
They can't make mistakes.
Because you're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah.
You're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna like be suffering heartbreak. You don't want that. So be prepared, right? Be prepared that and know that, okay, this person is as human as I am too, right? They're gonna make mistakes. Like they're gonna mess up at some point. Not mess up in the sense that, okay, you know, they just, yeah, I mean, if you understand what I'm trying to say, but I'm just trying to say, like, you know, that grace should be there. Be patient, you know, be tender-hearted, right? Be ready to forgive, right?
Let me even tell you one thing, like, that was shared with us today, which I think that if everybody starts putting that into cognizance, a lot of tension will reduce. And this was the lesson I learned. It was more of a conversation of, you can't, before you send that message during that fight, before you react to that thing during that fight, ask yourself, if I sent this to myself, would I love it? And a lot of times I think that, don't text when you're angry.
Right.
If you are angry, throw your phone away if it's possible. Never. Because number one, you won't pass the right information to the person, and vice versa. Number two, when I heard that statement where, if I tell Damola, this is very, very, let's use the word stupid. I should ask myself, if Damola sent that message to me, how would I feel? So, and that's what Damola said. If you give the person the grace that this person did not die for me, it's only Jesus. It's only Jesus that can fix all these things. I think we'll kind of mellow down. Another thing I personally see that we can do to reduce these tensions is also not taking everything personal. Look at the issue and not the person. Because a lot of times, Joseph might probably saying something as a guy using all his logic and what they call it, fireworks already working, and he's seeing it from a fixer perspective. Like most men, not all men are fixers, but most men want to fix stuff. Women want to analyze. They want to sit down with you and say, okay, let's buy a new iPad. You're like, okay, what's the spec? What are we doing? Calm down. Let me give you reasons why I want us to get a new iPad. So she will state her reasons. Then you can now say, oh, yeah, that's really good. But I also wanted to say that if we wait till next year, Apple will bring out a new, that's a conversation. And at the end of the day, you've dealt with that. But if she says, Joseph, let's get a new iPad. You said again, spender. I've always said you're the spender in the relationship. And you go on and on and on. See, you just destroyed that. Even the iPad is hurt. Even you get. So I think that we have to come to that place where give the person the grace, have that conversation that is productive. Like my husband would say, we have to have mature conversations. After it is mature, we have to give ourselves the leeway that we cannot be thinking the same level. So we agree to disagree. At the end of the spectrum, we now have to come to a place of, well, even though I don't agree with this, when I looked at this thing that you brought up, it's in the betterment of our family. Let's go ahead with it.
To understand, not just respond, right?
Yeah. And I think it's very, very key. But a lot of people don't see it that way because they feel like, why should I listen to this person? And I think it's a place of respect where you just have to respect that person on the other side, so that when the person is saying something, it's more or less that this person is trying to resolve this issue we have, and not necessarily the person trying to beat me down based on whatever it is that we've talked about. You get? I don't know if you wanted to add anything else.
Yeah, and it's just important to understand that you're on the same team. You're not competing against each other. You're not fighting against each other. You are working towards the same goal. So yes, there might be different perspectives, but you're on the same team. So that's really important to remember.
Please.
Yeah.
The same team as in married, but maybe football club can be on different teams. You can be on different teams. Because till now, me, I still don't understand the whole football team. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. But I can, if you give me free jersey that is nice, I collect it.
Exactly.
And my husband, I said that if that's your mindset, the next Chelsea jersey, I will not. I'm like, see, I will wear your own. So let's not do this. So the next area I wanted to focus on is how can I have fun as a young couple? A lot of things are tying us down in this COVID-19, and a lot of people are bored. So how are you enjoying this season? Like, how would you tell a young couple to enjoy the season with their loved ones, and do things that are budget friendly?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, start with the things that you love to do. So, like, whatever it is that you as a couple love doing together, like, do that. If it's okay, we love to cook, get some groceries, cook at home, compete, making a dish or something like that. Put on a movie, watch some movies if you enjoy watching movies, go on a hike, go outside, go walking, something that can get you active and like you can talk at the same time, we just got a couple different card games where it's deep questions and we're just talking about those questions and learning about each other more. It's a different way to bond. And then just making an effort on both ends. So, your spouse, male, female, both of you are trying to actually make an effort to enjoy each other during this time.
Right. I think it's important. This part is important to say that we should always remember that we're trying to serve our spouse, right? In this times, especially in this COVID times, if you understand that your spouse is someone who's not a homebody, and you are, that's where the effort part comes in to make sure that, okay, what can I do to serve her better, to make sure that we're both okay in these times, right? Not just that, I'm an introvert, so I'm fine with staying at home. I don't care about anything else. Yeah. Because I'm an introvert. I'm actually fine with staying at home.
I'm not fine with staying at home.
So we have to find,
So I'm a mixture of both of you. I'm an ambivert. So I'm that person that if I want to go out, I go out.
Yeah.
But if I want to stay at home, there's nobody. Don't even visit by mistake. Yes. Do you understand? Don't disturb my destiny. Just leave me. Yeah. But now I think we sometimes, like you said, give yourself that juggle that okay, if this is this person's personality, I respect it, but also you can come out of that bubble. Yeah, I wanted to agree with that also.
So we just find ways to just do things together. If it's new, if it's different, just keep active, right? It's difficult, especially in those times where you can't really go out, travel in certain places.
Georgia is open, so sometimes we go out, but not in the club and everything place. But yeah. So we've gone to explore a little bit. We do like to, when we do go out, because some people like to stay at home. When we do go out, we like to just see new things. So we've been to a couple places that are this is different for us. Let's just go explore and see what's there. But make an effort on both ends. So it's not just one person, let's go do that. But the other person's no, I'm okay. That doesn't help you as a couple. Yeah. So just find the things that you enjoy and do them. Don't just sit around and think, that would be nice, but we're just sitting here looking at other people do it when you want to do it as well. Actually make an effort to do things.
Yeah. You never know. You might find something that's different and new around you that you never noticed before because of the whole busyness of life with pre-COVID times, right?
Yeah.
And another thing that I personally would also subscribe, which I'm doing right now, is going back to those days where all the butterflies were still fresh. There were certain things you would have been doing then that was working, that made both of you just be in each other's face, enjoy each other's time. So if you're married, maybe still in the first 5 years, because let's not even talk about the children will change the dynamics of your entire marriage. Like, and it's for good, but it's because you're bringing someone else into the picture, it's stretching your relationship and you want that stretch, right? So it's very good, but go back to that place where it's just Damola and Joseph, hoopity happity who carry your bag, we're traveling, go drop the baby somewhere with someone, or or maybe probably before now, Joseph will probably like to just read a book in one corner. He'll probably say, you know what, because I want to carry Damola along, let's listen to an audiobook of that same book and let's sit down together and review it. I think those are things that can, and even older couples can try it out. When you were still chasing that your wife now, like there were some things you were doing that was working, right? And that was why she said, part of the reason why she said yes. So I think people should also still go back to that space and that place so that when the joy or when everything starts looking boring, you go back to that space of this person was really, really like the MVP. This person was my G. Like I can't do without you. Now, guys.
Yeah.
I don't like how time flies on this show. But before we end this show, I wanted you, Damola, to talk to, and this was the conversation I was having yesterday on Friday Night Jazz, and we're talking about being whole as a woman. A lot of people feel like just go and marry. Funny enough, I was listening like in the middle of the night while I was doing some school study. It was more or less people were like, I'm tired of this mindset of anything for an African lady is what if you were in your husband's house, blah, 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 blah. And that pressure of everything is like, this is the main destination for every woman now. What would you tell that single young lady that is like, I want to pursue purpose, I want to also still enjoy life, and I also want to get married, but the fear of losing myself in marriage is what's like crippling me down? What would you tell that young lady right now?
Ooh, that's a great question. One, you don't lose yourself when you get married. You don't lose yourself. Two are coming together. Remember that. You don't lose yourself. You don't lose your identity. Wake up every day and tell yourself, this is who I am. I am beautiful. You know, I am great. I will accomplish this. This is what I want to do with my life. This is my vision. You can still do that. You know, tell your husband, like, this is my vision. Share with him, like, this is what I want to do in the next 5 years. How can you help me become the best woman that I want to be, who I want to become for the future? You don't lose yourself when it comes to marriage. And I think it's important to really affirm yourself as a woman. Wake up every day and really think about the things that you love to do and why you love to do them and how you can continue doing them even in your marriage, and making time and space to grow individually and like within yourself, like just treating yourself like I'm like, how do I don't want to, excuse my French, like I'm the queen, yes, you know, I can do all things through Christ, like I'm that queen, like I can do anything that I put my heart to. And like, honestly, go into marriage with the mentality that you're not going to lose yourself. Like, and if your husband wants to honor you, you know, respect you as a wife too, like, and treat you like a queen, he won't force you to do anything or become anyone that you don't want to be, or who hasn't, you know, yeah, exactly. But sis, if you're ready to get married, you won't lose yourself. I just want to tell you that, like, I can't say that I've lost myself. You know, Joseph allows me to be who I want to be, read when I want to read, go out when I want to go out to eat. He indulges in some of the things I love to do. Like, I'm the adventurous one who wants to explore and do this on the third. And Joseph is like, yeah, let's go do that. Even though he's not necessarily the adventurous one, but just, affirm yourself, really know yourself, explore yourself, and continue doing the things that you love to do prior to getting married. Yeah.
That's to be very sincere, that's key. I think that marriage has just, I thought I was this, and it's like I'm an onion. Marriage is just peeling, and you know, for every woman out there, you are powerful. Don't let anybody make you feel less than what you are. You are powerful. You are a great force.
Yeah.
So don't think, oh, you're going to lose yourself. But one thing I would say, just like Damola has also said earlier, never, ever, if I can say ever, never, never, ever, never, never, ever keep quiet. Never be silenced. Have that conversation with your future partner or your partner and let the person know that, bro, before now, I used to do this, I used to do this, I used to do this. You know it. Now,
Yes.
marriage isn't going to be like the turn off. It is like a loudspeaker.
Yeah.
It's going to blow that horn out. So
Yes.
tell me what your goals and aspirations are.
Yes.
I'm an helpmate. Don't worry.
Yes.
My megaphone is loud. I'm going to blow it up. Because the moment we start seeing that we are actually powerful, it will be a great privilege for him to give that natural project manager.
Exactly.
So that person is going to be like, you know what? I used to do it alone. Now I have one other person doing it with me, and he makes things better. So see yourself as that. And remember, it is he that findeth a wife. So my sister, you're already a wife. It's when you get married, you become his wife. So make sure that you're just that powerful force. Marriage cannot hold you down. Everybody that has announced their what they call it, we know people like Jumoke, what's her last name? I didn't know. We know people like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Who knew the Iwealas before now? No. But because of her, everybody knows it. So be loud and proud about who you are, right? I know in some part of the world, tomorrow is Mother's Day. So celebrate that woman in your life. Celebrate your mom. Joseph, what would you tell that young man out there that is money is the cocoa. Money is what I'm looking for. Money, if you have money and that illusion of money, purpose, marriage, how would you tell the guy to that doing well?
I would say priorities. Like start what is priority for you? What is first on the list for you? If it's money comes and goes. Money can create wings overnight and fly away. So you want something that's there, something that's sustainable, something that moves you forward to what God has called you to do. The thing is, the money will come, like you said earlier, like first the kingdom of God, and everything will be added. So prioritize kingdom service, prioritize kingdom things, whatever it is that would give you the life you don't have to worry about anything else, right? For the man who's looking to be married, I would say, first of all, understand yourself, understand who you are, understand what you can accept and what you can't, understand what it means to be in fellowship with other brothers, because you're going to need it. Understand what it means what marriage in itself means. What's the purpose of marriage? Is it to make you happy? Is marriage to fulfill sexual needs only? There's more to marriage than, the things that many times we think about. For example, marriage is meant to develop both people's character. The Bible talks about like Jesus Christ washing, the church with the word and then presenting her to himself. And so are you ready to teach? Are you ready to teach your family? Are you ready to teach your wife the word? Are you ready to give out the space to flourish? Are you ready to give out the space to become all that God has called her to be? So it's no longer just you thinking about yourself now. It's you thinking about someone else as well. And so thinking about like how ready are you for all of that, right? Because honestly, God won't give us, more than we're capable of handling. Because if you think about it, remember the story of the talents, right? God increased their capacity based on how faithful they are in the current position. So where you are right now, single, be faithful in your singleness to God, and God will increase your capacity for what's next.
Thank you very much. my co-host has to make a special appearance every time before before I finish. But before we go, apparently we have a question, and I said, in case of long distance relationship, how do you talk about your plans as a future couple?
Oh, that's a great question. We also like did an entire video on this one on our channel as well, but it comes down to honestly having the blunt conversation, plain and simple. Like, babe, you know, we're doing this long distance thing, but how long are we going to be long distance? When are we actually going to be in the same place? Are you actually planning for that? Are you thinking about what comes next for the distance? How do we plan to bridge the gap on this distance and call it, you know, a regular traditional relationship, I should say. And also like, whatever your plans are, make sure you're sharing it with the person, because that's when you recognize if they're actually on the same page as you, if they have the same values as you,
giving the same effort as you.
Yeah, because if they're not, then honestly, plainly, bluntly, you're wasting each other's time. If you're not having those conversations, which are really important for your future, if you want to marry them at the end of the day, and you're not having those conversations, plainly, simply, like, it's not as two mature adults, it should be an easy conversation to have, and an important conversation to have as well.
Yeah, I think you mentioned something very important at the beginning, which is there has to be a plan for when this is going to end.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be, the
distance is
going to,
yeah,
like, we can't be long distance forever, right? And so that plan has to be there. That plan has to be in place. Like, okay.
And I want to even add, we should talk about where we are settling.
Yeah,
because the girl, you can be distancing, and the girl wants to stay where she is, and the guy is also thinking, this is where I want to stay.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
that is a very important question. Like, you know, who's moving? That was one big part for us. That, okay, who's moving? Like, and for me, living my life 10 years in Canada, I'm like, fam, you want to move, eh? but yeah, we had to talk about it. We had to pray about it and understand, you know, that if it's God's will, then we're gonna do what we need to do. We're gonna plan for it and go with it.
So I hope that answers the question. Moving forward, I think. Oh yeah, thank you. And please, like I said, go to their channel. The link is in my description box. Please make sure that you share and you subscribe to their channel. Amazing content they drop. And like I want to start doing something for the show where I want people to send in. We started. I want people to be sending anonymous questions. So people that are not comfortable sharing questions out here, they can send those questions anonymously so that they'll be able to like share with us what exactly they want to learn. And I think it will be a great space. But
yeah,
I know we're like 3 minutes into the end of the show, but I wanted you to touch on something. Now, a lot of people, I've heard people who do in-law prayers that God, his mother will not be alive. I've heard those ridiculous prayer points.
Wow.
How do you deal with in-law management, boundaries and stuff like that? Just in a wrap.
Honestly, what I say every time is this: our parents, we are called to honor them, and so honoring them is important. Honoring them is you understanding first what place the position of your family, understanding where your position your family is, that your family comes before any other person. So there's priority to all these relationships. That's what I'm trying to say.
Your family isn't your marriage, by the way. So not like your in-laws, your marriage.
Your wife is priority. So understanding priority of relationships, your God, your wife, and everything else comes after. Yeah. So when it comes to in-laws like that, we understand that. We make sure everyone understands that, okay, my wife is first. There are boundaries, like my wife is first. Yeah. We discuss things between each other. We have left the house. We have cleaved to each other, right? So we've left completely, and we've cleaved to each other completely. I think that's something that's important to understand. That we're no longer dependent on them, but you know, we're now codependent with each other. So praying for them, honoring them as we should, but knowing that priority is her.
Yeah. Honor your in-laws, honor your parents, right? But at the end of the day, set boundaries. Now you have your own marriage, you have your spouse, you know, and where your attention should be at. And also, yeah, talk about everything. Over communicate when it comes to like family. Over communicate when it comes to everything in your marriage. Like, just talk about it.
Like honestly, some people might think, oh, what worked in where they're coming from would
it's
work
not
in
what you're
your
gonna be doing in your marriage.
It may not work, right? This is two different people coming together. So it's what works for you both, not what worked in your family. If it worked, discuss with your wife and see if that works for you both. So I think it's just wise wisdom.
Set boundaries. Some boundaries. Thankfully, we have great in-laws. I have great in-laws.
We do.
So.
Yeah. We do have great in-laws.
Thankfully, thank God.
Thank God for that.
That's amazing, and a big shout out to a lot of amazing parents that are supporting their children in whatever decisions they're making. And also, as those parents, you should also just respect that this is your child, and your child made that decision to get married, and there's a reason why they did that. There's a reason why they've left to cleave, right? So don't poke your head, don't poke your nose, don't poke your arm. Just respect. At the end of the day, their role is to honor, your role is to just respect those things. And yeah, I believe that please, sisters, brothers, stop praying that people's parents should die, because you'll become a parent and someone will be praying that for you too. So do you want to die? Hey, you say guys, I want to say a big thank you to both of you. You've made today super, super fun. I had a great time. I know a lot of people learned a lot, but always before you go, you have to give us your final words to any young couple out there navigating life. What would you tell them? So I will get one from Damola and one from Joseph.
Every day is going to be different. Just stick with each other. Together. Do it together.
Yeah. Stay committed. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Live life to the maximum. If life feels empty right now, check your source, check your connection to the source, and check the capacity of your source. Who are you connected to? Who's filling you up, right? And just enjoy every day. Yeah, enjoy the process.
Live your life to the max. Yes.
That's amazing. So guys, thank you for watching today. I had a great time. I'm sure Joseph and Damola had a great time. They are smiling, so they had a great time.
Thank you for having us.
But yeah, thank you very much for coming back to back. I'm so grateful. So if you want to follow them, please follow them at Life to the Max. So LIFTOTHEMAKS. All one word. Or just check the link in the description, and you would see their bio, or you see their link for their YouTube channel. Just click on it and follow them. You're gonna have fun. Damola can dance. Joseph is just trying, but Joseph is. But let's give it to Joseph too. We celebrate you, brother. We celebrate you.
Thank you.
We saw you doing some leg moves yesterday. Like, okay, it's not bad. But thanks, guys, for joining us. Thanks, everyone that's joined us. We are so grateful. Thank you for sending in your questions. Like I said, I'm gonna put it in the description, in our bio on Instagram, and probably also on Facebook, so that you can always click and send in questions. This month we are going to be having different couples, and if you have couples that you want us to bring on the channel, God will give us muzzle to get them. Please just put in the comment section and let's have them come share their marital journey and how God has helped them so far. So till we see you next week, please don't forget to share this video, subscribe to the channel, and have an amazing day. Like Damola said, enjoy life to the max. Joseph is not leaving us behind. He's the purpose preacher. He has always been talking about purpose. So if you've not seen that video, I'm going to link the video in the description also for you to watch. What do men want? It's an amazing conversation I had with Joseph last month, and in January. So make sure that you click it and you enjoy it. So till we see you next time, have a great weekend. Bye, guys.
Have a great weekend.